sinners, and saints. Dust off those horns and halos. It's time for Alan After Dark.
Sinners, saints, bitches, whores, sluts, pole smokers, ass munchers, butt lickers, etc., etc., etc. How you all doing? I hope you're feeling well and sexy and funky cold Medina or whatever the fuck that means. And goddamn, how old is that? That's old, isn't it? Sorry. Well, I am so thrilled and happy that you all were very concerned about me and my health. And I appreciate all the well wishes and the questions, and also a lot of the negative feedback I got about last week's episode. But you know what? That's what it's all about. But again, thank you for your concern. I did go to the doctor, and it seems that I'm suffering from a bacterial sinus infection that requires antibiotics to treat the condition. My doctor is not one to readily give out prescriptions for antibiotics, but this time I have one. I am on the mend. I'm not completely 100%, but I'm about 90%, which is great. So thank you to all those sending their best wishes, and fuck you all to those who were hoping I would die. No. But with all due respect, you have every right to wish that I was dead. But I'll just say this. Evil don't die easy, bitches, all right? So deal with it. Change the fucking channel. But I know you won't, because you're just dying to know what I'm going to talk about. Is it going to be about dick or something else or both? Both. What did I mean by that? I guess I meant something political. But you all know that I've said this over and over. You can call it political. It's not political to me because we're talking about my community's survival, our lives. So fuck y'all on that too. See, I'm sounding like myself again, right? I think so. I was watching the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the, 75,000th time. And always, I just want to remind people that the best advice to give anyone is don't go in a stranger's house, ever. You know, I mean, it's that simple. Stay the fuck out. Had they not gone into the house, they wouldn't have been dinner and breakfast and lunch for the next 16 months. I mean, it is that simple, really. All the things we can learn from horror movies that should be just basic common sense, FYI. But I've been watching a lot of horror movies while I've been sick. Not that life stops or the world gives you a chance just to chill and sleep and get better. No, everything keeps going and you either fall behind or try to keep up. And that's what I tried to do. So I guess my mysterious illness that we were talking about, it was last week. I think it was, right? Right. Just happened to be a sinus infection. But I think I had people going with that theory about a potential new illness that's spreading around the world. And just because I'm diagnosed with a bacterial sinus infection doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it actually was or is, whichever. It just so happens that the antibiotics that I've been prescribed are doing the trick. Considering the way the world is going, we are overdue for another pandemic, aren't we? One that's actually fatal. Maybe The Walking Dead or The Last of Us will become real life. Did I tell you all? Maybe I did. I don't know. Several weeks ago on my grocery run, early in the morning, I happened to see something in the sky that looked like a UFO. I rolled down my window and yelled out, "Beam me up!" Yeah, I would choose to be abducted by aliens, I think, than try to deal with this bullshit that we're living through right now in this world. Did you ever think we would see such stupidity? Did you really? I mean, I'm used to it from certain people. You know, there's a certain percentage of the population that are going to be morons, period. We know that. But at every level of government, I just know that people that are quote-unquote right-wing are just ridiculous. They are not the smartest people in the world. They are so wrapped up in their hatred, their racism, their homophobia, their anti-women, anti-elderly, anti-anything that's not like them. Even though most of them fall into one of those categories. But I'm not going to get into that tonight. I really do want to talk about dick and more dick and more dick. But it's hard not to be angry all the time and just so frustrated and overwhelmed by all of this ridiculous shit that's going on that is the very antithesis of what America is supposed to stand for. We are a country of immigrants and we welcome everybody around the world here because this is the land of the free and the land of opportunity, but not anymore. It might as well be Nazi Germany in the 30s or part of the communist bloc in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. My God, it feels like we are in Soviet Russia or the Soviet Union for us old timers. Something is about to give, and we'll see how this all falls out. But in the words of REM, it's the end of the world as we know it. I am going to happy hour in just a little while. It's the first one that I've been to in a little bit of time while I've been sick. And to say that I'm excited is an understatement. I can't wait to see the guys and my friends. And I got to say, I'm going to do a little shout out to Peyton, to John, to Eric, and to Jeff, who all FaceTimed me last night while they were at happy hour. And it was so nice of them to check on me and to talk to me and make me feel good and excited about this evening. I have every intention of seeing someone's dick tonight.
Oh my God.
I may not get to touch it, but I will see it. You know who I'm talking about, I think. Oh, no. Not Henry Cavill. You all know better than that. But the one I'm talking about, you're listening. And so get ready. Wear those navy underwear boxers you have, okay? This week when I was grocery shopping, I did encounter the Mohawk Man, who is no longer the Mohawk Man. And feeling better, I did circle back around to get another look at him. I have to say, I do like the haircut that he has, but he really has changed not only the way he looks, but I think his personality seems to have changed a little bit. And, you know, I was kind of critical. Well, I wasn't critical. I was disappointed that he changed. But I'm wrong for that. All of us should evolve and adapt and do whatever we want. I make assumptions that because he looks so wickedly wild, that when he become more reserved, sort of a conservative look, that he must have been forced into doing it. But it could just as easily have been his choice. And all of us are about choice, aren't we? I certainly am. The color of my beard. I have fallen in love with the color that Steven uses to make my beard look red. And I know that some people, including one of my nephews, don't really like it. But I do. I think, and I'm going to quote Madonna, when she was asked once about her haircut, and she had her haircut really short, and it was sort of like a boyish haircut, for lack of a better description. And she just said, it's good for your head to change things. Hair grows back and you can always change it another way. I agree with that. I think that little things like changing a hair color, letting it grow long, cutting it short, changing the hair color of your beard, shaving your head, I think all those things can lead to growth and enrichment. It can turn your own mindset upside down so that you're not always thinking the same way. You're not putting yourself in this box saying that, oh, this is me and this is how I always will be. You know, like sometimes I'll wear a kilt. I prefer my jeans and I prefer a certain type of shirt. But sometimes it's good just to shake that up. Try something different. Try something that you would never, ever think of wearing and try it one time. All it is taking a chance. And in the words of Dorothy Zbornak, when you take a chance, sometimes good things happen, sometimes bad things happen. If you don't take a chance, nothing happens. Yeah. I can hear half of you yelling at me, well, bitch, take your own advice. And I should. You're absolutely right. I should take that advice. I wonder if I were to approach the Mohawk Man and just say something like, you know what? You are a very attractive man. I've walked by you several times wondering if I could get your attention. You even smiled at me once when you caught me red-handed staring at you when you were knelt down on the floor. But if you don't mind, you can go to the men's room and I'll eat your ass and suck your dick. I wonder what his reaction would be.
What?
Oh, yeah. Fuck ice. I've always thought that, especially men, older single men in particular, probably going through a midlife crisis for the 38th time, like when they purchase a new vehicle, a new car or truck, do they purchase it because they really wanted that vehicle, or did they purchase it because they thought it would impress people? That's Freudian, isn't it? That's all related to penis size and your low self-esteem. But isn't that how we are a lot of times? We purchase things, we wear things, jewelry or cologne or the kind of underwear, the cars we drive. We do those things to impress people, even though I don't know what impressing people gives you. I mean, there's not a dollar value to that, is there? Because the dollars come out of your bank account. You're the one spending the money on all these things. I hope people, well, I shouldn't even say I hope people don't do that. I know people do that. I know the human condition. We all do, right? We know that people do things just for the sole purpose of impressing others, thinking they're catching someone's eye. I guess if that keeps you warm at night in bed, good for you. I've never been one to be like that. I don't have to have a glitzy, glamorous anything. I do like looking good, and I like to have a clean car, and my car is clean on the outside. But I do wear the clothes that I think make me look good. I don't wear things that I think will make me look bad. And I just realized we've had this talk before, so enough of that. I've thought about maybe in the summertime this year, if we survive to summer, maybe going from a red to a purplish color for my beard. And I have a couple of friends who have purple hair that it's just a beautiful color. It's so soft and subtle, but it's so brilliant when you see it. It just looks so good. I thought about doing something like that. I know half of you are saying, Alan, just focus on sucking dick. That is your expertise. And I don't disagree with you. Oh God, I sounded like one of these cisgen men who have all these problems getting it up for women, who have mommy issues, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to sound like that. I'm not one of those fuck faces. I just enjoy a nice sampling of penis every so often. I'm in the mood for hot nuts.
Jelly nuts, hot nuts, I've got nuts for sale.
I guess I better be careful. Some of y'all might want to kick me in the nuts. But trying to get back on topic, do you all like sometimes want to pretend like you're someone else, an alter ego? I have an alter ego. He just doesn't come out as much as he used to. But it is fun, isn't it? It's fun to totally be a different person, act and behave like someone that you would never be, and to see if you can pull it off, because it ain't easy. And you definitely don't want to do it at a place that you plan to go back to frequently, because you'll get found out, unless you tell people that you're kind of living out a fantasy of being someone other than yourself. It's like having Halloween all the time. That's what I'm getting at. And I think it's a good fantasy to have. It's something that you should experiment with. I think it can put your reality in perspective. It can make you appreciate it more, or maybe press you into making changes that are more like your alter ego. Maybe the alter ego becomes you, because to me, the alter ego is part of you already. It's just the part that you usually suppress. And we're all like that. We all rarely ever show all of our true colors for obvious reasons. We don't want everybody to judge us all the time. It gets old and tedious to have to deal with people making assumptions about you one way or the other. And sometimes just being vanilla is the way to go. Being just generic gets you through life. Some people are happy with that. I have never been a person to be happy with just vanilla, even though I think a lot of people think of me as vanilla. I think I'm adventurous. Well, sort of. I used to be. Here I go again, clinging to the past, right? I definitely am more adventurous sexually than a lot of people are. I don't mean experimentation. You're not going to see me tied down with leather with somebody fisting me. No, I'm not into that. I'm not really into being whipped. But, a spanking can happen within a sexual encounter, and that can be okay. A little smack here, a little smack there. But, love taps, that kind of thing. That must be the best thing about being an actor, is that when you're playing a part, you become that part. And I know that a lot of actors have said that they love playing the villain because the villain is usually the antithesis of all of us. And it's kind of cool to play the bad boy or the bad girl, depending on what you're doing. I just think that I'm trying to tell myself that I need to get away from worrying about what people think, even though I don't worry that much about it. I just get irritated when it gets back to me that people are saying this about me or that about me. And sometimes I work that to my advantage. Sometimes it makes certain hot guys approach me looking for an adventure. Doesn't mean they're going to get one, because I'm still dealing with my own sexuality. I'm still trying to come to terms with being a romantic. I don't know what that's going to lead to in the future. A lot of my fantasies do stem from gay porn. The porns that I watched in my younger years, they did influence me in ways that I never would have imagined and really didn't actually think about till years later. And it's so funny. I guess that can be considered a negative, that you're letting a form of media affect the way you look at sex. But we've all had sexual encounters with someone who acts like a porn star. And I think it is to impress us. I think men especially are driven to be impressive in bed with sex. And they want to hear that they're good and they're great, when most of us aren't great. I mean, we all make assumptions about a person based on what we like. If someone likes to have a tongue in their ear, it doesn't mean that everybody else likes that. And I, for one, am not one who likes to have a tongue in my ear, because I don't want an ear infection, okay? Jesus. Like the toe-sucking thing we've talked about before. I think we all just assume that what excites us should excite everybody else. And we all should know that that's not how that works. It really doesn't. And of course, the key to understanding all those quirks, especially when it comes to sex, is communication. We all know that. It's just not easy to do that, is it? Communication is the most difficult thing I think any of us have to do, if that makes sense. Having said all this, it just reminds me of my own personal frustration with communication, with trying to help others understand where I'm coming from. Like, for example, many years ago, there was this guy, let's call him Derek, and I absolutely fell head over heels in love with him. He was really like the first guy that I was both physically and emotionally attracted to. And I thought about him every night before I went to sleep. He was the first thing I thought about when I woke up the next morning. We worked together, so we spent much of the day during the week together. And my feelings just blossomed into something that I felt like I couldn't control. And we had chemistry. He cared for me deeply, but he was heterosexual. And there was no way that he was ever going to consummate the feelings that I had. I did fall in love with him, and the relationship ended when he moved away. But I would give anything to have the friendship back. I don't need the romantic relationship. I loved our friendship. I think that as we get older as well, that practicalities do come into play, and we realize that feelings ebb and flow. Some days you might be in love with somebody. The next day you might be in hate with somebody. And then the day after that, you might be sort of in the middle. It's really complicated when you think about our feelings. And I know that when someone starts feeling romantic feelings towards someone else, it is hard to turn that off. And I've been there. I've been there a couple of times. I know how it feels. But I also know that in both those cases, I truly missed out on a friendship that could have lasted possibly a lifetime. Feelings come and go. They don't always stay strong. That's why I'm really impressed with couples who've been together for 30 and 40 and 50 years. It's just an amazing accomplishment that you've achieved. And I do think that it really does describe what real love is. In that case, romantic love. And I hope that either way, as long as we speak our own truth, we have to just accept those consequences, whether it be a lasting friendship or no friendship at all. That result is out of our control. But the one thing in our control is being truthful to ourselves. And here we are again at the end of another fabulous episode of Alan After Dark. At least I hope so. I hope you've had fun. I hope you've enjoyed this week's conversation. And once again, thank you so much for your concern about my health. I'm so glad to be getting better. And as always, remember, take life by the balls and be real. We'll see you soon.